150 days, 150 Psalms, one verse from each Psalm daily. Welcome to the place where you learn the Bible. Even today, we'll be meditating on the longest Psalm of Ascents, that is Psalm 132, 18 verses. All the other Psalm of Ascents has 110 verses. I think the longest one so far was 9 verses, Psalm 122, but this one has the double of it, Psalm 132, the longest Psalm of Ascents. And this Psalm is based on 2 Samuel chapter 7, where David had a strong desire to build the house of God. When we read our core verse, that is verse number 12, this is a promise that God gives. If your sons will keep my covenant and my testimony, which I teach them, their sons shall sit upon your throne forever. David might be a righteous dad, but God says, I will deal with your sons separately. You are good. When you look at verse 10, it says, for the sake of David your servant, do not turn away from the face of the anointed. Yes, God gives a very good certificate to David that you are a good man, you are a man who behind my own heart. But here God says, I deal with David separately, I deal with Solomon separately, or in other words, I deal with the father separately, I deal with the son separately. That's what we deal here. Yes, man, you sat on the throne. Your throne is good enough. Your throne was strong enough. Your throne was a unique throne. But if your sons will keep my covenant and my testimony which I teach them, then your sons also shall sit upon this throne forever and ever. And these are the exact same words that King David repeated to his son Solomon on his deathbed. Look at First Kings chapter 2 and verse 4. What does David say, Solomon? That the Lord may carry out his promise which he spoke concerning me, that if your sons are careful of their ways to walk before me in truth, then you shall not lack a man on the throne of Israel. We read the first verse of 1 Kings chapter 2. As David's time drew near, he charged Solomon his son, saying, and these are the words that he said, if you are careful to walk in the way, if you keep the covenant of the Lord, you shall not lack a man, you shall never lack having a man on the throne. Dearly beloved, today I want to talk to you about raising godly children. Now this is a very sensitive issue, very sensitive matter. Usually they say in Tamil there is a saying, they say, போலீஸோட பையன் தான் திருடனா இருப்பான், டீச்சரோட பையன் தான் மக்கா இருப்பான். Now the son of the police is the robber and the son of the teacher is the idiot. Many times, very strangely, I have found godly parents have not raised godly children. I do not know why. There are some cases where I have seen godly parents having godly children. This is not just today. It's even in the Bible. Look at Eli, a godly father, unrighteous sons. Samuel, a godly father, unrighteous sons. And this is repeated. Even David, because David had many children, Solomon escaped, but even that Solomon later fell apart. Look at David's family. One son rapes his own sister. Another son kills his own brother. Another son tries to snatch the throne of David. Another son tries to take the throne away from Solomon. Those guys are a mixed up family. And it is very important. I'm not going to talk to you now what are the steps to raise a godly family. No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to ask you to plead with you. This is also to me. I have 2 children. It is very important that we raise a godly generation. Why do you think God gave you and I? Why do you think God gave us children? It is not to spread our ideas into them, but it is to raise them godly. I very personally feel, I firmly believe that our children needs to be doctrinally sound than educationally sound. It is very important that they have good moral manners, good biblical manners than, than any other degree that they can ever have. Dearly beloved, if your sons keep my covenant, they will sit upon the throne forever. I want to reframe these words. If our children can keep the covenant of God, they will always have the blessing of God upon their lives. I'm just wondering, the world is turning evil, more evil day by day. And I wonder how the next generation is going to survive. It is a challenge. And it is very important that we prepare our kids for the challenge. There was a time when smoking was considered as an offense, when drinking was considered as a bad habit. Now it has become the way of life, the culture. There was a time when adultery was considered illegal. Today, even the Indian Constitution has made it legal. Homosexuality was once abhorred. Today, even we have Christian bishops, pastors who are homosexuals. The church is led by homosexuals. And if I talk anything against homosexuals, I will be considered as a person, as a racist. I don't know what to say, how the next generation is going to be. It's going to be really tough for the kids that are being born this year or this decade. It is tough. And that is why our job gets more and more serious. If you are a parent who's watching this, make sure you make a commitment that you will give priority to God and His ways than to anything else. Let us raise godly children so that they will have a blessing every day of their lives. Stay blessed in Jesus' name. Amen.